So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, my name is Katie Mazur. I am in my second year at Rocketship Legacy Prep as an ISE specialist. So I currently work with third grade. Before that, I taught in Boston for 5 years, which is where I'm from. So I am going into my eighth year of teaching.
Okay, great. Nice to meet you. So can you tell us what some of your favorite things are? Foods, movies, music, books, and your favorite subject when you were a student in school?
Yes. My favorite food is steak. I would eat it every day for the rest of my life if I had the option. Movies, I really love Denzel. So anything with Denzel Washington in it he's my favorite actor. And then books, I'm really into murder mysteries. So I really like to read James Patterson. Those are really easy reads for me. And I get through them really quickly and they're very interesting. And I always try to solve the mystery before the book ends. So that's
Okay.
fun. And then favorite school subject. When I was younger, my favorite subject was humanities. So I really loved writing and reading. As I grew older and learned a little bit more, I have to say my favorite subject now to teach is math.
Okay, great. So now that we've gotten to know you a little bit better, we're going to dive into kind of what your work is like. So, how are creativity and innovative thinking used on a daily basis in your classroom?
Yes. So the structure of our classes are all co-teaching models. So you have the general education teacher, and then you have the special education teacher who not only works with students on IEPs, but they work with everybody. Based on levels, we have different groups that we rotate through. And so every day, both myself and the general education teacher get to pull small groups and do guided reading or do intervention. And that really helps because you have students who are on similar levels who can build off one another. And then when we bring them back whole group, we do our best to do student-led discussion. So we really put the thinking on our kids and we let kids get creative with their answers and we let other students build off of it. And you get this really rich discussion, which we then kind of aim to do in our small groups as well.
It's great. It's great. Um, so the next question is, how is critical thinking used on a daily basis in your classroom?
Love it. Yeah, so I think thinking about like our small groups and our whole group discussion, because everything is really student led, it allows the students to kind of problem solve through their thinking on their own. And through, any math problem, they try to visualize it themselves and model it out and act it out to really help themselves conceptualize what the problem is asking. And then in terms of reading and writing, with those student-led discussions, we do our very best as educators to really get students to get invested into the text and get invested into what they're reading. And that way they can have just genuine conversations about it. And with that, we can then push those questions to really get at those critical thinking skills inside the classroom.
Awesome. How are assessments designed to promote growth rather than just simple measurement?
Yeah, I mean, I always this I like this question a lot because we do a lot of assessments and we love to praise for achievement, but our biggest thing at Rocketship is really looking at where a student started and where they are right now. So 3 times a year they take the NWEA MAP assessment, which is the measures of academic progress, and we look at what are some of the skills that they're doing really well in and what are some of the things that they are struggling with. And from there, we create these scope and sequences to really target what each individual student needs. And through that, they can then take the test again in the winter, and we can look at the data then, and then go back and take the test again in the spring. But our big thing really is like, you could have scored really low in the fall, but we're just looking to see you make improvements in the winter. And similar for our STEP test, which is our developmental literacy assessments, where we look at students' reading levels. And for third grade, we have some students are on a step 3, some students are on a step 12. Our goal for each kid is not necessarily to get them all to a step 12 by the end of the year, but to get them to pass 3 to 4 step levels wherever they may be. So our job really as educators is just meeting our kids where they are and pushing them to make that progress within the classroom.
Awesome. How exactly is learning personalized in your classroom and in the school in general?
Yeah, we have a great model. I feel very fortunate to work as a special education teacher at Rocketship with all the resources we have. We have so many different curriculums that we can use. And we just do a ton of small group instruction. So we'll look at data not only from assessments, but from classroom observations, from work samples, from exit tickets. From there, we can really target groups and put students in certain groups based on the skills that they're working on. And from that, we can really personalize that instruction to cater to whatever the skill is that our students need. And so I would say on average, I get to see about 10 groups a day. So I'm working with 30 students, but they're all broken up into small groups to really get that targeted, personalized learning that we want for all of our kids.
And how do you see the role of a teacher in the learning process?
Yeah, I think just like investment is huge. So how can we as educators really get our families to be bought into what we're doing? The better partnership that we have with families, we can have honest conversations of like, hey, your student is struggling with this, or your student had XYZ type of day. But that relationship is really big. And I think as educators, our biggest proponent is making sure that we can have strong relationships with our families so that the student knows, okay, this is my teacher, but I also know that my teacher is here for me and they're checking in with me and they're checking in with my family. And with that, you get the investment from the students as well.
Awesome. And then, so my last question for you is, what can I do to support my scholar's educational path in my home and at school?
Yeah, we have parent partnership hours at school where we have parents come in and they volunteer to come and read a book in the classroom or come and work on math intervention with students. And that really helps students get to see their families' faces in the school, and they get that feeling of this community of like, everybody is here for me, everyone is coming together for me. We always encourage families to come into the school. We have an open door policy. We want to see families' faces. We want students to feel loved and safe all of the time. And then in terms of home, just being a support system for the student, and never hesitate to call us if you have any questions. Like we want to be there to help you. We want to brainstorm ways that you can support your child at home and in school and outside of school. And so we're really big on just communication. Anytime you need us, just give us a call, shoot us a text message. We're more than happy to help, and would rather that than you be stressed out at home not knowing how to support your child.
Great. Well, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And here we are signing off.
Thank you very much.